been my first clue that something was wrong. Because Mr. Wilson always came on Tuesdays. For 10 years. Every single Tuesday at exactly 2:15 p.m. He'd sit in booth 7, order the same meal, leave the same tip, and we'd talk about life. But that Tuesday, 2 weeks earlier, booth 7 had stayed empty. And my heart knew something was terribly wrong. "Are you Sarah Mitchell?" the lawyer asked, holding a leather briefcase that probably cost more than my car. "Yes." I wiped my hands on my apron, suddenly conscious of the coffee stain on my uniform and the fact that I smelled like French fries. "My name is David Brennan. I'm the estate attorney for Harold Wilson. I need to speak with you about his will." That's when my world stopped. Because I realized Mr. Wilson wasn't coming back. Ever. "My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm a single mother of 2, and I've been a waitress at Ruby's Diner in small-town Ohio for 12 years. This is the story of how a $3.47 tip changed my entire life. I became a single mother when I was 24. My husband left when I was 6 months pregnant with our second child. Just left. Walked out one morning and never came back. I had a 2-year-old daughter, a baby on the way, and exactly $400 in our bank account. Ruby's Diner hired me even though I was pregnant. Ruby herself, the owner, looked at me and said, "Honey, you've got fight in your eyes. You'll do just fine here." I worked double shifts. Morning shift from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then I'd pick up my kids from my mom's house, spend a few hours with them, put them to bed, and work the late shift from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. 4 hours of sleep. Every day. 4 years. Tips were everything to me. A good day meant my kids could have new shoes. A bad day meant ramen noodles for dinner again. I was exhausted. Broke. Scared. But I kept going because that's what mothers do. It was a Tuesday in March. I remember because my daughter Emma had just turned 7, and I'd missed her birthday party to work a double shift. The guilt was eating me alive. The lunch rush was over. The diner was nearly empty. Then this older gentleman walked in. He was maybe late 60s, wearing a simple button-down shirt and khaki pants. Nothing fancy. Nothing that screamed money. Just a regular-looking older man with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. He sat in booth 7 by the window. That became his booth, though I didn't know it yet. "What can I get you, sir?" I asked, pulling out my order pad. "What do you recommend?" He had a gentle voice. Soft. The kind of voice that made you feel immediately at ease. "Honestly? The meatloaf is terrible today. But the pot roast is pretty good. Comes with mashed potatoes and green beans." He smiled. "Pot roast it is. And coffee, please. Black." I brought him his meal. He ate slowly, reading a book. When he finished, I brought the check. $12.53. He left a $20 bill. "Keep the change," he said. I looked at the money. A $7.47 tip on a $12.53 check. That was more than 50%. "Sir, are you sure? This is too much." "I'm sure," he said, standing up. "You recommended the pot roast even though it meant I'd pay less than if I ordered the meatloaf. Honesty is rare. Thank you." The next Tuesday, he came back. Same time. 2:15 p.m. Same booth. Booth 7. "Pot roast again?" I asked with a smile. "You know me already," he chuckled. This time, the check was $12.53 again. He left $15.90. Exactly $3.47 in tip. The third Tuesday, same thing. $3.47 tip. The fourth Tuesday I had to ask. "Mr. I'm sorry, I don't know your name." "Wilson. But please call me Harold." "Harold, I have to ask. Why always $3.47? That's such a specific amount." His eyes got a little misty. "March 47. That's when I married my wife Eleanor. March of 1947. We were married for 58 years before she passed. The tip is, it's my way of remembering her every week." My heart broke a little. "That's beautiful." She would have liked you, he said softly. You have her kindness. Every Tuesday for 10 years, Harold Wilson sat in booth 7 at 2:15 p.m. We developed a rhythm. I'd bring him coffee as soon as he walked in. He'd order pot roast. We'd talk while I worked. He told me about Eleanor. How they met at a USO dance during World War II. How she waited 3 years for him to come home from the war. How they couldn't have children but filled their lives with travel and books and kindness to strangers. I told him about my kids. About Emma's struggles with math. About my son Jake's obsession with dinosaurs. About working double shifts and being so tired I sometimes cried in the walk-in freezer where nobody could see. Harold never offered me money. He knew I was proud. But sometimes, mysteriously, I'd find envelopes in booth 7 after he left. Inside would be a note. For Emma's math tutor, or for Jake's dinosaur books, or once, for the mama who works too hard to breathe. There'd be cash. Always exactly what I needed. $200 for the tutor. $50 for books. $500 for the car repair I'd mentioned needing. Harold, I can't accept this, I'd say the next Tuesday. Then don't accept it, he'd say with that gentle smile. Eleanor would have done the same thing. Let me honor her memory by helping someone she would have loved. How do you argue with that? Over 10 years, we talked about everything. He told me about his business. I learned he'd owned a manufacturing company that he'd sold years ago. Made parts for airplanes, he said. Nothing exciting. But it provided well. I told him my dreams. How I wanted to open my own restaurant someday. How I wanted my kids to go to college. How I wanted to stop being so tired all the time. You'll get there, he'd say. Persistence beats talent every time. And Sarah, you're the most persistent person I've ever met. On my 30th birthday, he brought me a cupcake with a single candle. Eleanor always said birthdays should be celebrated, even the hard ones. When Emma graduated 8th grade with honors, Harold came to the ceremony. Sat in the back. Clapped the loudest. When Jake broke his arm and I had to miss 3 shifts to stay at the hospital, Harold paid Ruby to give me paid leave. I didn't find out until years later. He became family. Not the family I was born into. The family I chose. And more importantly, the family who chose me. 2 weeks ago, Tuesday came. I prepared Harold's coffee at 2:10 p.m. like always. Extra hot, 1 sugar packet on the side even though he never used it. 2:15 came. No Harold. 2:30. Still empty booth 7. By 3 p.m., I was worried. In 10 years, Harold had missed maybe 3 Tuesdays total. Once for pneumonia. Once when his sister died. Once when weather closed all the roads. He always called the diner to let me know. This time, nothing. I called the number he'd given me years ago for emergencies. It rang and rang. No answer. No voicemail. Tuesday became Wednesday. Thursday. Friday. I called every day. Nothing. I asked Ruby if she knew how to find him. Honey, I don't know anything except he always paid cash and he loved you like a daughter. Saturday morning, I was reading the local newspaper during a rare slow moment at work. My eyes caught a obituary. Harold James Wilson, 78, passed peacefully in his sleep on Monday, March 18th. A private funeral will be held. The coffee pot slipped from my hands and shattered on the floor. Harold was gone. I sat down right there on the floor, broken ceramic around me, and cried. Ruby came over, saw the newspaper, and cried with me. Harold had no children. The obituary said no surviving family except a niece he hadn't seen in years. Services were private. I didn't even get to say goodbye. For the first time in 10 years, I went home early. Ruby insisted. I picked up my kids and just held them. Because Harold had taught me something important. Tomorrow is promised to no one. That Wednesday, exactly 1 week after Harold's last Tuesday, the lawyer walked in. David Brennan. Estate attorney. Expensive suit. Serious face. Is there somewhere private we can talk? He asked. Ruby let us use her office. I sat down, still wearing my apron, hands shaking. Ms. Mitchell, Harold Wilson left a very specific will. He updated it every year for the past 10 years. And every year, you remained the primary beneficiary. I blinked. What? I don't understand. Harold Wilson left his entire estate to you. After taxes and a few small charitable donations, the amount comes to approximately $8 million. The world tilted. $8 million. Harold owned Wilson Manufacturing. He sold it in 1995 for $18 million. He lived frugally, invested wisely. The money grew. He had no children. No close family. He chose you. I couldn't breathe. $8 million. That number didn't make sense. That was an entire different life. There's more, David said, pulling out an envelope. He left you a letter. He asked that I read it to you personally. His hands shook slightly as he opened it. David cleared his throat and began to read in Harold's voice from memory. Dear Sarah, if you're reading this, I've gone to be with Eleanor. I hope it was peaceful. I hope I didn't suffer. But mostly, I hope I left you understanding how much you meant to me. 10 years ago, I walked into Ruby's diner a broken man. Eleanor had been gone 3 years. I was so lonely I could barely breathe. I'd eaten dinner alone every night. I'd wake up every morning with no purpose. Then you recommended pot roast over meatloaf because honesty is more important than a bigger check. In that moment, I saw Eleanor in you. The same kindness. The same integrity. The same beautiful, fierce protection of what's right. Every Tuesday for 10 years, you gave me something money cannot buy. You treated me like I mattered. Not like a customer. Like family. You told me about Emma's math homework. Jake's dinosaur phase. Your dreams of owning a restaurant. Your fear that you weren't enough. Sarah, you were always enough. More than enough. The $3.47 tips. Eleanor's anniversary. March 1947. But also, $3 for faith, 4 cents for hope, 7 cents for love. That's what you gave me every Tuesday. The money is yours. Not charity. Not pity. You earned it through 10 years of kindness to a lonely old man who had nothing to offer but conversation and pot roast. I've included instructions with my lawyer. Use this money to open that restaurant you dreamed about. Send Emma to whatever college she chooses. Buy Jake all the dinosaur books his heart desires. And please, take a vacation. You've worked yourself to exhaustion for 12 years. One request, name the restaurant Eleanor's. She would have loved that. And if you can, make booth 7 special. Reserve it for people eating alone. Give them free coffee. Let them know someone sees them. Because Sarah, you saw me. When I was invisible to everyone else, you saw me. Thank you for 10 years of Tuesdays. Thank you for being Eleanor's kindness made flesh. With all my love and gratitude. Harold. The pot roast was never that good. I just liked talking to you. I sobbed. Right there in Ruby's office. I cried for Harold. For Eleanor. For 10 years of Tuesdays I'd never get back. For the father figure I'd found in a booth at a diner. David gave me the paperwork. It was real. $8 million. And detailed instructions on how to use it. That was 6 months ago. Today, I'm standing in Eleanor's restaurant. It opened 3 weeks ago. It's a beautiful place. Warm. Welcoming. The kind of place where lonely people can feel less alone. Booth 7 has a small bronze plaque. Reserved for those eating alone. Coffee is free. Kindness is priceless. In memory of Harold Wilson. Every Tuesday at 2:15 p.m., Booth 7 is reserved. We invite someone who's eating alone to sit there. We bring them free coffee and pot roast. We talk to them. We see them. Emma is in college now. Full scholarship, but Harold's money means she can focus on studying instead of working 3 jobs like I did. Jake has a library of dinosaur books that would make a museum jealous. And me? I work 1 shift. My own restaurant. My own rules. My own dream. But every Tuesday at 2:15, I make myself a coffee. I sit in booth 7 for exactly 15 minutes. And I talk to Harold. I tell him about Emma's engineering classes, Jake's new obsession with space, the restaurant, the people we've helped. I tell him I miss him, that I wish he was here to see this, that I hope Eleanor is proud. And sometimes I swear I hear his voice, Eleanor would have loved you. Harold taught me something that changed my life. Kindness compounds. You think you're giving a little, a conversation, a smile, honest advice about pot roast. But it grows. It multiplies. It comes back as 8 million miracles. I was a single mother working double shifts, drowning in exhaustion and fear. Harold saw past the uniform and the tired eyes. He saw me. And he gave me not just money, but dignity, purpose, hope. If you're watching this, here's what I want you to know. There are people in your life right now who are drowning. They won't tell you. They'll smile and say, I'm fine. See them anyway. Sit with them. Listen to their stories. A 15-minute conversation might save their life. It saved mine. Thank you, Harold. Thank you for 10 years of Tuesdays. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for Eleanor's. And thank you for teaching me that family isn't blood. It's the people who show up. Tuesday after Tuesday after Tuesday. Final shot, empty booth 7 with a cup of coffee steaming, morning light streaming through the window. Rest in peace, my friend. Your kindness lives on in every pot roast we serve, every conversation we share, every person who sits in booth 7 and feels a little less alone. 10 years of $3.47 tips. $8 million in gratitude. But the real inheritance. Knowing that I mattered to someone. That I was seen. That's worth more than any amount of money.